So I'm bringing in, hey, Amal. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am so awesome and so excited to have you online.
Same here. It's a pleasure.
How's Lagos? What's happening in Lagos? Are you in Lagos, right?
Yes, I am. It's pretty much it's shut down. There's really nothing going on right now. Everyone is just in their houses except people who are, have the essential jobs of the people that are going out. But otherwise, it's pretty much, calm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And is it a complete shutdown, or can people go out and get stuff? Can people, do they have time out? What's the regulation like? Can people go out and do stuff?
It's supposed to be a total shutdown, but people are still moving around with using the excuse of people who have the essential jobs, media or whatever. So people are still going out, and then the other people are taking the opportunity to also go out and do their work and get money.
So, speaking of essential workers and going out there, you're a media personality. I'm so excited. So, everybody logging in, thanks for coming on board. I am LeahK. I am based in South Africa. And the effort of connecting with awesome and phenomenal Amal Kash today is to have conversations with phenomenal women across Africa. I think it's so exciting that we have such powerful women doing different things and amazing things and creating a platform where we all share these stories, because as Africans, we do this amazing thing about sharing stories, right?
Yes.
And you're one of these people that I have found, and I'm sure you're curious how, but I think that you have an amazing story to share with so many young women, and I'm going to be probing into some of that today. But before we go into all of that, tell us a little bit about Amal Kash. Like, I really love the name Amal Kash. Tell us about Amal Kash.
Amal Kash, I'm Ugandan. Yes, I'm from Uganda originally. If I was to, I tried to think about that and think about what I'd say about myself. Basically, I'm just anything to do with media. That is me. Radio host, I'm a TV host, I'm a content creator. So I'm just all around the media. So yes.
Oh, that's amazing. That must be exciting. And so being in media right now, you're part of the essential services, so you still have to go to work. Because you still have to keep people like us informed. What's that been like for you? Because, I mean, there's the effort of the excitement of still keeping us informed and aware of what's happening. But there's also that risk that you kind of face every day by commuting and being out there. What's that like for you?
At the end of the day, I know that there is a risk, but I've never felt sad about it. I'm always excited. Like you said, I'm always excited to give information, although it's quite, it messes with you in a way when you're receiving the bad news first and then you have to give it to people, whether it's the numbers that are increasing or just anything in general. When you're trying to give out news, you receive it first and it hits you first, and then you have to, package it in a way that's not going to scare the world. Because if you just get on radio or on TV and you're scaring the world and you're instilling fear in them with the name of giving them news, you're not doing your job right. So so you have to, most times you have to receive this news and then you have to think about it and how best to give it to people. So that people remain calm, people remain in their homes, because if people are not calm, then everyone is going to, go haywire. So most times I think that would be my biggest challenge, trying to repackage and make sure people are calm and still.
Oh, wow. So, Amal, let's dive into more of you. I mean, let's keep it happy, because I guess the pandemic is getting all of us a little worked up and paranoid. South Africa is, I think, day 24, 25 today. I have literally gone off media a little bit, and I'm focusing on what I want to digest. Because the paranoia, I believe I've seen self-symptoms about 4 or 5 times now, like I'm sneezing or I'm coughing or something. Because I keep reading stuff, right? Yeah, it's like, I'm not breathing right. Was that a cough? Wait, hold on, that's something, right? So let's take it off that a notch, and let's look at you a little bit. What would you say is the one thing that you celebrate the most about being Amal Kash?
I would say it's courage.
Okay.
That's the one thing that I give myself every time I'm faced with any difficult situation, I have like maybe 1 hour or two to feel bad about it, and then something in me will just say, you have to get up. Like you have to get up. So the one thing that I'm always the most proud of about myself is the fact that I know that no matter what happens, I still get up. I think that's the one thing that I celebrate the most about myself. Yeah, it's courage.
I love the courage factor. I want to dive into that one a little bit. So, a couple of years ago, you already studying this and wanting to drive your career in media and grow that. You made a choice. You got up one day, packed your bags and said, "This is where I'm going to grow my career." And you got up and you did it, right?
Yes.
And that's something that takes a lot for other people. Just share that courage piece about you, because it's this thing where you make up your mind and you do something and you show up for it. And a lot of us take years and sometimes just never face up to ourselves to getting around to doing that. Tell us about that.
My decision to come to Nigeria was I still don't believe it when I'm telling the story. I don't believe myself, because I got up it was during an evening going out with my girls or whatever, and I just said, I'm going to Nigeria. And I kept repeating it until it was a reality. And my parents are still saying, you must be joking. But way before, I think the process took 3 weeks to finally start coming here. But it became a reality before it was a reality to me. And it was just, I knew what I wanted. I was 20. I wanted to do something. I always knew I wanted to do something great. I wanted to make a difference. And I used to look up all these media personalities, singers, producers, and everyone that I followed and looked up to was from Nigeria. And I thought about it. I said, this is Nigeria, this is Africa. Why can't I, if I want to do this and I want to learn from the best, why can't I go and do it there? It's not like I'm trying to go to Australia or something. And when I kept talking to people, or when I was trying to even get a visa, I found that it was so difficult. And I had to keep asking people, why is it easier for someone who is outside Africa to come to Nigeria or Uganda or South Africa, and it's harder for an African themselves to get a visa? So it didn't make sense to me. And I kept saying that, my dream, my biggest dream is to, close all this, borders we have in our minds. The borders are there, but we have this border. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Oh, I don't like this country. Oh, I don't like. We're Africans at the end of the day. People who are in America, people who are outside, do not see us. They don't call us by our countries. They say, that African girl, that African. That's how they know us. So it's sad that it's us ourselves that are dividing ourselves, because everyone else identifies us as African. It's nice to be proud of where you're from and know that you're Ugandan. It's nice, but at the end of the day, when you're representing yourself to the world, you are African. And
yes, ma'am.
So the more I thought about it, I just said, you know what? I think I would. This is something I want to take on. I want to. Now I'm in Nigeria, tomorrow I can decide to go to South Africa, because I am African. We should all have the rights to explore our continent and, make the most out of it.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you talk about being African and just being able to access it, right? One of the reasons a woman's worth, I discovered that is I love connecting with African people wherever I go. And wherever I traveled, I was always keen on the food. I didn't want to eat what was in the hotel. I always wanted to eat the food that was there. I wanted to engage with people. And I'd always travel mostly for work. And then when they were going home, I really wanted to go home with them, take me home, go feed me what you're eating, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. But I was also lucky. I traveled a lot with guys. And what I realized is it's easier for guys to say, let's chill out tonight. Let's do this, and not to be gender specific about it. But it's a little more challenging as a female when you have to do it. And I thought, how amazing would it be if we have this African unity where you connect as sisters. There is nothing stopping us. Technology allows us to connect, to find out, to research about each other. Don't wait for the moment. Start sharing, start connecting, and start engaging. Now, speaking about that, it has its own challenges. So here you go, 3 weeks into it, which is literally a day and a breath of a year of planning.
Yes.
You're packed up and you're in Lagos. Did you know people? What was the toughest thing about settling down in that trip and travel, but also in your career. It's such a brave thing to be in media as a female. There's so much out there. You've got to look a certain way, feel a certain way. You almost have to be molded into what society perhaps wants you to be. How do you remain Amal Kash? How do you remain focused? How do you keep that going? And how do you stay safe? How do you keep it all together being African female?
Moving to Lagos, I knew absolutely no one. When my friends realized that I was, going the next day, then everyone started saying, I started with this person, maybe you should talk to this person, because I didn't know anyone at all. I just knew that, I think from the airport, the hotel I was staying at, that's the car that came to pick me up, and then I would just sit down because I didn't want to stay in the hotel. So I would sit down and I would use Google nice restaurants around, nice lounges around, and I would call and be like, hello, I'm coming in. I'm going to be coming in at 4. And, Uber was very... So I made my meetings, made sure that I was reaching out to people on social media. Hi, my name is this. I will be flying into Nigeria. I would like to sit down for a meeting. And but those meetings were not really fruitful, but I still... because they also didn't understand what I was trying to. I couldn't explain what I wanted properly, because I thought about it in 3 weeks and came. So I had the dream in my mind, but it couldn't be written down. It couldn't be explained. So I'd sit down and I'm telling a music producer I had to break boundaries, and he's like,
It's like, keep dreaming. As he Slim says, the dream was calling, but the producers are going, okay.
Like, you go do that outside, please. Get out. So there was a lot of that, and I kept coming back and forth between Nigeria and Uganda. And I finally, in 2018, I finally told my parents, I think this is it. I think that's where I want to. And I tried different careers. I tried sound engineering, but I always knew I wanted to do media. But like you said, there's so much that you'll be told. People will always tell you what you cannot do. Because being here, and every time I would ask about how is the media industry here, people like, don't even try it. You have to look a certain way. You have to be from a rich family. You have to be slim. You have or what? There was always that, and I see that all the time.
Yeah.
So at some point, I had said no. Let me just find something else to do. And then when I came back in 2018, I said, it's do or die, because my parents said, you have 1 year to make something of yourself, and if it fails, then just come back home. So it was do or die. I went to I think 2 radio stations. I went there myself, and I was like, hi, I'm here. You guys need me. I'm really good. I'm a first learner, and I said all of that, and thankfully I joined. But the problems came when I joined. You'd meet people. I would, say, I'm a radio host, and then they're like, "You're a radio host. You should dress up like this. Why don't you put on makeup?" They kind of have, like you say, like an image of how you're supposed to be.
An image of who you should be.
Yes, and how you should talk, and what places you should hang out. Who are your friends? You shouldn't be doing something like this. And I say it's great. Branding is great, but I always say one thing: I have to live my truth. Like I have to relate to myself, because there are people who get taken up in this industry and they don't know themselves. You reach a point and you're so taken up by what people have told you to be that you have no identity outside people. And because I took my time and studied all the people that I was looking up to and their mistakes and their greatest points, I made sure that at every point, and I also pray a whole lot. So I made sure that every point I would check myself, and I might have, if I've made a mistake, when I hit, because there are those moments where you always hit rock bottom in a way, and I'll have to ask myself, what did I do? And most of the times when I would hit rock bottom, it's because I let go of myself. I compromised, myself. I tried to make people happy, beyond myself. I tried to be like people, and that landed me, because you can't keep up with it. If you're not yourself, you can't keep up with it. And the same people who you're trying to impress are the same people that are going to label you fake when the truth comes out.
Yes.
Yes. If you're trying to live beyond your means and maybe stay in the biggest house, or, buy the biggest, cars, the day it comes out that you're not living your truth, the people you were trying to impress will not pity you. Because it's one or two things. There are two people you're always trying to impress: those who are doing better than you, and those who are way below you, that they're not even bothered by your big car. Someone who is struggling to get transport for bus fare is not bothered that you've bought a big car. So those are the two people you're always trying to impress. And when you think about it, there's no need. There's honestly no need. So
wow. And I can't imagine being in that spotlight all the time, because not just are you a presenter on radio and television, you're also a music artist of your own right. So getting your own fan base growing there as well. And even though this sounds like it's so easy and it's all one arena, these are all different portfolios of you managing your brand. So I've seen a fiery side of some of your images and your look and your feel. Tell us a little bit more about your music. What's that like?
First of all, I actually had to put the music aside. Like you said, it was too much in a way. My work was overbearing, and I fell more in love with helping artists than being an artist. Because working in media, I knew the struggle, but I did experience the struggle for so long. Maybe it was a year or two at most, but I started media, and I was seeing artists who their stories, and if they come to my DM, they're telling me they've been through this thing for 5 years. Maybe radio stations have turned them down, TV stations have turned them down, and all they're looking for is an interview, or they're looking for an interview. They're looking for their music to just be played. They're looking for a shout out, something simple. And I had to think about it and say, there's no way I'm going to do my music and also help other people. So I had to put one thing down, and it was my music, because I was, I was honestly better off helping people get to their goal in a way that's more fulfilling for me than becoming a star or whatever. So it was more fulfilling for me to always, on the shows, always have someone upcoming come on the show, more than the big celebrities. It was more fulfilling to give someone a chance, and it's their first radio interview and you're telling them what to do. That is more fulfilling. But the music days were great. Another thing that had to make me drop it, I had to be honest with myself. You get to a point, you can have the talent, but sometimes because you have the talent doesn't mean you're meant to. Your talent may not be your destiny or your journey. Sometimes you have the talent to influence people. So when I was doing music, it used to take a lot for me, because I'm a shy person. So getting on stage is one thing. I can talk on stage, but then getting on stage and trying to be the fiery person and dance, and it used to take a lot from me, a lot. And I found myself becoming another person. And every time my parents would say, there's a statement my parents always used to say, you'll make it if it's God's will. And I would be so scared of that statement, because a part of me really knew it wasn't God's will. So I kept saying, when they'll say that, I would say, I'll make it either way. Because I was so scared of that statement. So I'm like, man, I don't think this is God's will for me. So can we not add the God's will part? Can we just say I'll make it? And when I found media, I was new to media. I was way new to media, but it was so easy for me. It was so passing messages across, discussing things that music matters definitely, but getting to discuss things that people are going through in their day-to-day life meant more. And when my parents said that statement once again, you make it if it's God's will, I was like, yeah, in Jesus' name we pray. So
would you say that you've shelved it, or you've just let it go in the fact, because you keep bringing up the fact that it's just not. Sometimes you need to allow the fact that you might be talented, but not necessarily something that you need to pursue. Yes. So are you parking that aside? Is that done? Is that something you'll revive at some point?
I would revive it, not necessarily at the forefront and say music. We make plans and God laughs, but I do not plan to come back at the forefront, but I plan to help. Sorry. But
I'm going to keep that comment, like, I'm just going to hold that back right now. It's like I was looking for a mask. Like, wait, where's it? Let's find one right now.
But I see myself wanting to help artists and, develop, like, go into the management and marketing side of musicians than being a musician myself. So I wouldn't say I've let it go, but the musician part of me, I think, yes, I've let it go.
And super, talking about musicians, you've started a very hot, fiery chat discussion daily on your channel as well, live, right? And you're doing a whole lot of producers and artists, which is so exciting. How's that been received by your audience?
It was...
I dialed in one or two of those.
There's like, when I first explain myself, there's chili in the air, so that's why I'm coughing, people. I just have to explain myself. But yes, the live session came. The live session came to me. It was but like I said, it was one of those broke water moments for me where I didn't know what to do. I was trying to find something that I can do to help people. And I was talking on the phone. I was talking to someone. Oh God. I was talking to someone, and yes, they basically said, you have this passion. You have this passion to help people and to talk to people, and you love music so much. Why don't you start something on your own page? And it was I didn't have time to think about it. I think I had that conversation on Saturday. Yes, Saturday. I didn't have any time to let doubt in my mind. I didn't have time to say, can I do it? I just went to Instagram, started talking to the musicians I know, and when they were responding yes, I was just texting and saying, yo, they've said yes. Okay, I've booked this day, I've booked the next day, I've booked. So I didn't. It was until Monday itself that I was starting that I realized when I was sitting and getting ready, I was like, am I really going to do this?
You're doing this, right?
I'm like, am I doing this? Because like at around 3, I was like, maybe I should just cancel because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I didn't allow any sense of doubt to come in. So it's been very fulfilling. I've learned a lot, and I'm glad that even the response I'm getting is people are learning a lot about music business, and generally with time we're going to have more people that are not in music. But I want it to be a situation where people can come and leave the fame or whatever, but learn about. So if you really want to do music and you say you really want to do it, then listen and learn. And I'm trying to make sure that the questions are not targeted towards the fame part of it. How do you handle the girls? No, I make sure that whatever I'm talking about is
like it's authentic and real.
Yes, it's going to help people. The challenges, I'd like to discuss challenges that are going on, so that if someone is listening, they know what to expect. And we're not just talking about how many cars do you have and how many houses. You're knowing that to be a musician, this person said this, so I need to expect this. That when it happens, because most people, when they're entering this industry, you see the flashy cars, and maybe what happens is, what I realize with artists sometimes is they're not honest. Some artists are not honest. They leave from jump. You're seeing them, doing giveaways, spending money, wearing old designer clothes, living in the most expensive parts of the world. And then
that's what society kind of expects from them and pushes them into. And what you were saying earlier, like you've got to watch that.
But then now, 10 years later, when they're actually now really making money, then they come up and say, I struggled. I grew up from a poor house. And you're like, I've been watching you. I didn't see that house. Where is it?
Yeah, what happened to all those lovely flashy cars?
So the artists who are watching also know that, if I become a musician, I'm going to get a house, I'm going to get a record deal, and then I'll get a record deal. When I get it, I'll blow. And yet it's not the truth. It would be better if artists actually sat down and said, this is what happened to me. This is what is happening to me. This is the things that we're going through, so that people would understand. Because music itself is a business, and if you treat it like a business, just like how any business is, you're granted to succeed, or if you don't succeed, you learn. But if you treat it like a hobby, like some type of get-rich scheme, it's not going to work. Unfortunately, it may not work. Unfortunately.
And your industry, in general, people, authentic relationships and realness usually takes you much further. And in your arena, it's tough to be authentic. But for you, you've taken that time to being authentic, to being real. What does it mean for you to have a relationship with anybody? What's important in a relationship for you?
Respect. Respect and friendship. Because I believe that if I'm talking about, I think I'm going to put it in a way of a romantic relationship between two people. I would say it's respect and friendship, because I keep on telling people that feelings fade. Like the last everything fades, love itself is a choice. I don't believe that love is a feeling. It's a choice. You decide to love someone. You decide to respect them. Even if it's just a friendly friendship, you decide to do these things. And that's the only thing that keeps it going. But if I say that I have a relationship with this person is my friend or this is my partner, first things first, I need to know, can I respect you? Whatever you do, do I stand for what you do? It may be from the tiniest details, the things, we always hear things like, no one is perfect or whatever, but the tiny things like, for me, it's, do you respect people? Are you a kind person? I can't stand being around someone who's rude or who is very negative around people. So small things like that mean something, because once that part is covered, then I know I respect and I stand behind everything you do. That's covered. And then are we friends? On the worst days.
So I have a question for you, Amal Kash. I think we're in the arena of relationships and friendships. Tell me, honey, about Date My Family.
Date My Family.
I noticed you didn't find relationship in there
at all.
I don't know which part you want to start with, but please also include the food element, because I know you don't always eat a lot. So this is another thing that's out there that Amal Kash don't eat all her food. And you put something on Twitter the other day, like, I don't have that problem, like I don't get to finish my food, because apparently some chicks date people for the money and the food. And you're like, I don't have that problem. And it was evident in Date My Family. You didn't eat none of that. There was one meal you didn't even touch. Like, what's that? I'm not eating that. So tell me, how did you first and foremost, was that for fun? Were you being serious when you went on Date My Family?
Date My Family was, I went originally, how it actually happened. I went to, there's always, like how the guys who I was supposed to be choosing had their families. I was meeting their families. So originally I had gone to be one of my friends' family so that her suitors could meet us. So I went there, and I think there was a delay in the shoot or something, and I had to run to radio. It was time for me to shoot. So while I was leaving, one person walks up to me and says, hi, because the whole time we're talking to everyone, and says, hi, I think you're a very interesting character and would like to have you on the show. I'm like, nope. Bye. And with time, they kept following up. They kept saying, it's a fine thing. You can do it however you want. But I was like, I had too much. I have TV. God, please. I have TV. I have TV.
That chili is not on your side today.
At all. So I had TV and I had radio. So I kept saying, I don't see how I'm going to have time. And they promised, they said, we'll work around it, however long it takes. Just give us, even if it's 1 or 2 hours. So I said, you know what? What's the harm?
Okay.
I saw it. I saw the harm. And yes, I started off with, I don't remember the order of the dates, but everyone was just, there was the one who said, is it cooking? I should cook. And I was like, there's one who kept saying, why are you in Lagos? Because people who come here come for guys. I'm like, the whole time how you have this fist and you're like, Lord, hold me.
I must say, you were so well contained about the whole thing. You were so calm. And I don't know how long in between these shoots happened, but the last one really, really got me in stitches, because he just wouldn't even say, because he couldn't tell you what he did for a living.
Exactly. And
he's like, what does he do for a living? He's in business. What business? No, he's in business. And you're like, it's fun.
And then they asked me, they were like, do you like to unwind? And then they were like, because he likes to relax and unwind. I'm like, unwind from what? Unemployment. Like, he's not working. He's no need to unwind. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this.
But Amal, you kind of disappointed me. I would have just loved to see you go on a date with me.
Just nope.
You've got to do it again. Just try it again.
I said nope.
So we could get a feel and a sense of what the actual date would look like.
No.
But that was quite interesting and fascinating, and I think that's the fun side about your personality, right? Like you've got this cool side and fun edge side where you're not always serious, but you also have a very focused career in terms of what you're looking at. What's your big dream? So you've achieved so much, right? You took on the journey of I'm going and I'm going to push my career. And if you look at your trajectory from when you left home to where you are, you've done some phenomenal things. What's next? What's the big picture? Where's Amal Kash going?
Well, where am I going? I would say I'm going where the Lord takes me, but honestly, I'm still in media. I want to keep helping more people. The more that I can help, I want to keep having sessions like this with artists and sit down and talk to them. I still want to be in the business. So what I'd say is more of media for me for now. It's more media. I want to go into charity work as well and, dive into that. I think that's something that I've always wanted to do, but it's just very hard, first of all, to partner with charity organizations here because you can't even hold them accountable. So it's something that I'd like to start. I'd like to have a charity, not necessarily have a company or a charity organization, but have something that I'm doing that I know in charity and makes for me just, stronger faith with God, more work, I really like to push myself when it comes to work. So more, hoping for more challenges that will come my way, not bad ones, God please, but like more things that are going to push me and make me stronger and make me who I am, that are going to define me. So I wouldn't have an exact answer for where I'm going, but I think that's like a picture of what I intend to do.
Okay, and that's the more serious side. So when you're not being so serious and so focused, what's fun for you?
Sleep.
I noticed, I think I texted you last night at about 1 a.m., which was 12 midnight your time. Yeah. You were up too. Yeah. I know everybody's time is kind of messed up because of the current situation, lockdown and everything, but I think this is your normal. You're up all sorts of hours as well, right?
Because I'm used to working. I'm used to work usually on TV. I usually do the night shift, which is from 11 to 6 a.m. So nighttime, naturally, I'm always up, and that's when I'm thinking and doing a lot. But then I was on the phone yesterday with someone, and I kept saying, I'm messing up. I have an interview for 1. I'm really messing up right now. And when it was time to wake up, I'm like, and I was like, I'm going to sleep at 6. I promise I'll sleep at 6, but we all know that won't happen. So I like sleeping. I like good conversation. I like I'm talking to my friends. I love music that I can't hide. So fun for me is music, whether it's I'll get up and decide to to a karaoke bar and just sit there and sing my life away and imagine what life would have been. So
what kind of music do you like?
Every type of music. There are days that you find me listening to rap. There are days that you find me listening to Afro.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song. Song that always comes and that makes me happy. I'd have to say I think it's a Zambian song. I think it's called Ichitemiko by yes. That is the jam that every time I hear it I'm like, and it's so slow and it's so sweet. So yeah, that's my favorite song.
Do you know the lyrics to the song?
So I think
Can you sing it for us?
I hope I'm singing it right, but okay, what's the chorus? So Echitemiko chove Tachabanga bambio, ganalo baby. Your love always brings me back. Echitemi kochove. Tachabanga bambio, ganalo baby. Your love always brings me back.
Oh, wow. Girl, you got a voice. Oh, my word, that voice. Okay, so from being a fan, like just you've acquired a new fan, please unshelf your career in singing. That's beautiful. Wow. Oh, wow. So hopefully, I know we picked an odd time, but it's also a great time because some people are still working and maybe some people will dial in. Hopefully some Zambians will hear that. That is absolutely beautiful. Love that. Wow. I love your voice. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So let's talk a bit about if you had to, be deliberate. And it sounds like you live life full. You live every moment as best as you can and enjoy that. What kind of memory do you want people to have about Amal Kash? What print do you want? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? So if somebody said, this woman made a phenomenal difference and she did A, B, C, D, and she moved me this way, what would you want that narrative to be like?
I want the one thing that I always want people to remember me for is just being a good person. I never in my life, whenever I want to say something, even when I'm angry, I never want to be the reason that someone sheds a tear. I never want to be the reason that someone feels bad about themselves.